This is Shevii, the seventh reading of our weekly Torah portion of Vayeshev, which is the seventh reading is Genesis chapter 41 through 23. It's 23 verses. And the Maftir will be, which is the final reading, which will be the last four verses, God willing. Last four verses of the last, from 20 through 23. ויהי אחר הדברים האלה חטאו משקה מלך מצרים והאופה לאדוניהם למלך מצרים. Now it came about after these events that the cupbearer of the king of Egypt and the baker sinned against their master, against the king of Egypt. ויקצוף פרעה על שני סריסיו ועל שר המשקים ועל שר האופים. And Pharaoh became incensed at his two chamberlains, at the chief cupbearer and at the chief baker. ויתן אותם במשמר בית שר הטבחים El Beit Hasoar Makom Asher Yosef Asur Sham. And he placed them in the prison of the house of the chief of the slaughterers, into the prison, the place where Joseph was imprisoned. Vayifkod Sar HaTavachim et Yosef itam, vayisharet otam, vayiyu yamim b'mishmar. And the chief of the slaughterers appointed Joseph to be with them, and he served them, and they were a year in prison. ויחלמו חלום שניהם, איש חלומו בלילה אחד, איש כפתרון חלומו המשקה והאופה אשר למלך מצרים אשר אסורים בבית הסוהר. Now both of them dreamed a dream, each one his dream, on the same night. Each man according to the interpretation of his dream. The cup-bearer and the baker of the king of Egypt, who were confined in the prison. ויבוא עליהם יוסף בבוקר וירא אותם והינם זועפים. And Joseph came to them in the morning, and he saw them, and behold, they were troubled. וישאל את סריסי פרעה אשר איתו במשמר בית אדוניו לאמור מדוע פניכם רעים היום? And he asked Pharaoh's chamberlains who were with him in the prison of his master's house, saying, Why are your faces sad today? ויאמרו אליו חלום חלמנו ופוטר אין אותו ופוטר אין אותו. ויאמר עליהם יוסף הלא לאלוהים פתרונים ספרו נא לי. And they said to him, we have dreamed a dream, and there is no interpreter for it. Joseph said to them, Don't interpretations belong to God? Tell them to me no. ויספר שר המשקים את חלומו ליוסף ויאמר לו בחלומי והנה גפן לפני. So the chief cupbearer related his dream to Joseph, and he said, In my dream, behold, a vine is before me. ובגפן 3 שריגים, והיא כפורחת עלתה ניצה, הבשילו אשכלותיה ענבים. And on the vine are 3 tendrils, and it seemed to be blossoming, and its buds came out. Then its clusters ripened into grapes. ויחוס פרעה בידי ויקח את הענבים, ואסחט אותם את כוס פרעה, ואתן את הכוס על כף פרעה. And Pharaoh's cup was in my hand, and I took the grapes, and squeezed them into Pharaoh's cup, and I placed the cup on Pharaoh's palm. ויאמר לו יוסף זה פתרונו 3 השריגים 3 ימים הם. And Joseph said to him, This is the meaning. 3 tendrils are 3 days. בעוד 3 ימים יישא פרעה את ראשך, והשיבך על קניך, ונתת כוס פרעה בידו, כמשפט הראשון אשר היית משקהו. In another 3 days, Pharaoh will number you with the other officers, and he will restore you to your position, and you will place Pharaoh's cup into his hand, according to your previous custom, when you were his cup bearer. כי אם זכרתני איתך כאשר ייטב לך, ועשית נא עמדי חסד, עשית עמדי חסד, והזכרתני אל פרעה, והוצאתני מן הבית הזה. But remember me when things go well with you, and please do me a favor and mention me to Paro, and you will get me out of this house. והוצאתני מן הבית הזה. כי גונבתי בארץ העברים, וגם פה לא עשיתי מאומה, כי שמו אותי בבור. For I was stolen from the land of the Hebrews, and here too I have done nothing, for which they have put me into the dungeon. וירא שר האופים כי טוב פתר, ויאמר אל יוסף, אף אני בעל חלומי, והנה 3 סלי חורי על ראשי. Now the chief baker saw that he had interpreted well, so he said to Joseph, me too, af ani. In my dream, behold, there were 3 wicker baskets on my head. ובסל העליון מכל מאכל פרעה, מעשה אופה, והעוף אוכל אותם, מן הסל מעל ראשי. And in the topmost basket were all kinds of Pharaoh's food, the work of a baker, and the birds were eating them from the basket on top of my head. ויען יוסף ויאמר, זה פתרונו, 3 הסלים, 3 ימים הם. And Joseph replied and said, this is its meaning. The 3 baskets represent 3 days. בעוד 3 ימים יישא פרעה את ראשך מעליך, ותלה אותך על עץ, ויאכל העוף את בשרך מעליך. In another 3 days, Pharaoh will remove your head from you and hang you on the gallows, and the birds will eat your flesh off you. ויהי ביום השלישי, יום הולדת את פרעה, ויעש משתה לכל עבדיו, ויישא את ראש שר המשקים, ואת ראש שר האופים בתוך עבדיו. Now it came about on the 3rd day, Pharaoh's birthday, that Pharaoh made a feast for all his servants, and he counted the chief cupbearer and the chief baker among his servants. וישב את שר המשקים על משקהו, ויתן הכוס על כף פרעה. And he restored the chief cupbearer to his position as cupbearer, and he placed the cup on Pharaoh's palm. ואת שר האופים תלה, כאשר פתר להם יוסף. And the chief baker he hanged, as Joseph had interpreted to them. ולא זכר שר המשקים את יוסף, וישכחהו. But the chief cupbearer did not remember Joseph, and he forgot him. And now for the final reading, which will be the last 4 verses, 20 through 23. ויהי ביום השלישי יום הולדת את פרעה, ויעש משתה לכל עבדיו, ויישא את ראש שר המשקים, ואת ראש שר האופים בתוך עבדיו. Now it came to pass. Now it came about on the 3rd day Pharaoh's birthday, that Pharaoh made a feast for all his servants, and he counted the chief cupbearer and chief baker among his servants. Vayeshev et tzar mashkim al mashkeu vayiten kos al kaf paro. And he restored the chief cupbearer to his position as cupbearer, and he placed the cup on Pharaoh's palm. V'tzara ofim tara kasher batar lahim, and the chief baker he hanged, as Joseph had interpreted to them. V'lo zachar sar mashkim et Yosef ha'ishkacheyu. But the chief cupbearer did not remember Joseph, and he forgot him.